Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's been a few days since I don't record the video and everything, but instead of me just talking about where I've been, because I've really been minding my business, what I want to do is talk to y'all about loving your woman. How should you love your woman? How much love should you give her? Should you be up under her 24/7, or should you give her space? There's no real guidelines to this, but I have realized in my own life that when you do too much of any good thing, it can sometimes backfire and become a bad thing. So the main reason I bring up how much love and affection and should you be obsessed with your woman is because this guy right here in this post, he's wondering like, damn man, how much should I do for her? How much should I do for a woman? If I do too much, she's gonna run away. If I don't do enough, she's gonna run away. It's a lose-lose, and I don't want to keep losing. So what I want to do is go ahead and read y'all some of this man's posts and everything. It says, women, when does the guy seem too interested / obsessed to the point where it's unattractive? See, this is the issue right here. Everybody has their own amount of interaction that they will like and everything, but if you don't get this exactly right or understand them as a person, there's a good chance that you might interpret things incorrectly. But me personally, what I feel is that the right amount of love that you should give somebody, it is internal. You have to look at how much you love yourself before you start giving love to anybody else. Make sure you love yourself as a whole person and put yourself before others. People will say that, you know what, if you do that, let me see, turn my mic up. Sorry about that, y'all. If you put yourself before other people, people will accuse you of being selfish, and that's not necessarily true. You looking out for yourself is making sure you prioritize your own mental health and having self-respect and everything. And some folks don't want you to have that. They want you to be just some soft turkey person that just tolerates bullshit. And when it comes to finding love and being with a woman and everything and finding happiness, self-love has to come first, because what happens oftentimes is that men, we mainly the more romantic ones are having the fantasy and all this and that, and the women, they want to get that, but we obsess about that in our heads to the point where we start doing stupid shit. And long as we have that obsession of trying to please a woman or making sure that we solve her problems and being a good man, we're going to mess ourselves up. So I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, being obsessed with a woman is not the way to go. But instead, what you should do is respect yourself and respect boundaries. Love yourself first. So let's go ahead and read some of the stuff that the man put, because I ain't really taking advice from a woman if she ain't saying something similar to what I'm already thinking. It says, I've heard women say that they want the guy to be obsessed with her. I've also heard women say the opposite. They're more attracted to the guy who seems detached and nonchalant and act like they have options, and too much interest is a turnoff. I heard so many conflicting options on this. The thing is, a lot of this stuff is true, and you need to have a fine line between all of this and everything. If you don't really blend all this together, women will not see you as a catch. Women will start thinking like, you know what, this dude ain't all that. If I'm the only person that wants this dude, then he can't be all that. I could fuck around with him, he ain't that damn special. And they might discard your ass. When women don't see the value in a man, they start taking you even more lightly. And as a man, to be taken lightly by anybody, this leads to destructive behavior. And sometimes this destructive behavior could lead us to acting like lunatics. It could lead us to acting like obsessive, needy people, or it can make us just completely detached and stuff. And these are things that you don't want to do, because if you're dating a woman that you actually like, this will cause the exact opposite effects that you want to actually have on her if you actually like her. So that's what I mean by, what is that, being detached or being obsessed with the woman. You don't want to be obsessed with the woman. Being detached and nonchalant is not really the best thing to do, but at the same time, this is also self-preservation that you need to have as a man. Women want you to be obsessed with them. Those type of women I don't even talk to, talking about they want you to be all over them. Nah, I got other shit to do in my life. Being detached and nonchalant, I guess that's the category I can fall into sometimes, because I'm not about to sit there and chase a woman. No, I don't have time to chase a woman. Women getting chased by me is damn near impossible because I have far more important things to do in my life. And I realized that when you chase women, this also causes problems inside of you. It starts conflicting with your thoughts and everything because you can't get her out your head. And what happens when you chase things? They run away. If you're chasing anything, it's not going the same direction as you. It's going the opposite of you. So you don't want to chase women. I'm not saying be nonchalant and not give a fuck, but you also need to have the take it or leave it attitude because women and men, they both come and go like left and right all the time. And if you feel like, oh, this is the one that got away, you're going to be mad as hell. So you're going to have that nonchalant attitude, but just don't be like an ultimate dickhead just rubbing in their face, but care for yourself. Put yourself first. It says too much interest is a turnoff, and I would say that as well. When you're sitting there all up under a woman and not giving her space to breathe, most women might say, damn, what else does this motherfucker got to do and everything? He always under me. He just annoying. He like a little kid. Like, these are things that's gonna bug women. So me, what I typically do is leave it up to the woman. Like, if you like me and everything, and you know that we are compatible and we do kick it, I'm gonna typically let the woman, you know, try kind of put that out there, like, hey, what you been up to? I'm like, shit, not much. Or she might say, I was thinking about this and I was wondering if you was free. I'm like, well, shit, y'all free, I don't mind hanging out. Let's go to do this right here or go do that, you know. But sometimes when a woman feels as if she has the man's not going nowhere, they will fuck with you, they will challenge you, and this at that point, that's when you gotta start stumping down on people next. I ain't say physically hurt a woman, but at the same time, you gotta let a woman know that you're not taking her shit, because when you start allowing small little shit to happen, you don't solve it, that's when that small shit starts to morph like a fungus and grow and get even bigger, and then it's some bigger shit that you gotta deal with. So me, I'm the type of dude that's gonna nip it in the bud. That's like, you know, I'm gonna talk to this girl and everything, and I'm like looking, you know, I glance over at my car, and I noticed that, you know, it's a text message from some dude. Like, I don't give a fuck. I mean, if we not together, then I don't care. But if you in my vehicle, in my establishment, my type shit, nah, that's, I value respect more than anything. So I don't care what you do in your spare time because you're not mine. But if you in my shit, you gotta respect it. That's just how I see that. But, you know, I do believe that women will challenge your ass if they don't think you are a challenger or you're just a pushover. So me, I'm the type of person, I look, fuck it. If I can't get the respect I want, I'm taking my toys and leaving. I said that in plenty of other videos, and that's the same mentality that you gotta have with men and women. If you ain't getting what you want out of a situation, then you need to back out of that situation and stop wasting your time. The next thing dude said was, there's no clear-cut answer, and that's because everyone is different. I can see how being too interested can scare someone off and give them the ick. However, I also see how playing it too cool just basically achieves nothing, because, well, if you can't make her feel desired and wanted, then there's nothing going to happen anyways. So let's talk about it. Where do you draw the line? What's yours? Like I said, for me, look, like I said, I'm busy, and I am a person that's all about ambition and achieving goals and mission in my life. And my ultimate goal in life isn't to find love and romance and all this other shit. My goals in life is to become successful and do great and leave a legacy for my offspring. That's what I care about the most. So if a woman comes along in that time frame, then cool. I'm willing to entertain that. And if it's meant to be for a long run, then it's cool. I'm willing to have that as well, but I'm not gonna jeopardize my happiness over a woman because I respect myself too much. And this is where a lot of men go wrong at. A lot of men, they will fold like an egg over against some ass, and they allow the ass to dictate how much they love or how much they put up with a woman. Ass don't control me. Ass controls weak men. Weak men can't tolerate, you know, not getting ass, so they'll do whatever they gotta do from a woman in order to, you know, make her happy so they can keep getting it. Me, I'm willing to be single and have nothing and check those sites out and if needed. But ultimately, you gotta have some form of self-respect. Self-respect will get you far with women. And a lot of men, they don't have self-respect. A lot of men, they don't give a fuck about themselves. A lot of men, they will say stupid shit just to make a woman happy, just to get what they want. And 9 times out of 10, these be the same men hide behind the internet talking about some, you're a queen, you're such a beautiful woman, good morning, beautiful. And they don't say none of that shit in person, man. They probably one of the worst people you can run across, because they gonna hide behind little doors and throw stones. In this predicament, they throwing love bombs. Y'all heard the love bombs. Just tossing motherfucking all this love stuff out at people. But, you know, you can't really reciprocate it or show how you love that person. I'm not saying go out there and start stalking somebody. Like, you know what? I can't improve it. I can't show that I love this person. No, if y'all ain't together or if it don't work, then it shouldn't be working. So that's my take on the line I draw. Anytime I feel like my integrity has been compromised or my happiness been interfered with, that's when I start, you know, drawing that line with any woman. I don't care. If a woman ain't gonna respect me and give me what I want, and I'm giving her what she want, she can get lost. That's just my mentality on that. Alright, so that being said, let me scroll down and see what everybody else line is drawing at when it comes to, you know, being too attached to a woman, being obsessed with them, or just not giving a fuck about them. The first person said, I think people like dating others who have a healthy balance of social life and dating life, as well as people who show a genuine interest in them. Being attracted to nonchalant guys is more about them having interests or social commitments other than you. Meeting someone who instantly wants to spend all their free time with you shows they either don't have a lot of friends or they're willing to ditch those friends for a new crush. The flip side is that if you don't want someone too attached to you, feel unwanted. The too interested turns off starts when someone starts to exhibit interest in you that comes across as disingenuous. Like, I think I said that word wrong, but thing is, a lot of people, they not used to having somebody that they could talk to, so what they do is cling on to the first person that gives them attention. So yeah, you will come off as disingenuous, and you will come off as a weirdo or a desperate simp for a woman, and then after she start treating you like a damn dog. And you don't want to be treated like an animal when it comes to dating women. You gotta have some form of pride. You know, I'm not saying be a prideful person 24/7, but take pride and ownership in whatever it is that you care about, and don't deviate for the most part from it. If you could put some of it off for whatever it is that you like, then that's cool. But ultimately, you don't want to sit there and sacrifice yourself for a female's happiness, because when you sacrifice yourself, you start losing portions of yourself, and you as a whole person, only person that's gonna make you a whole person is yourself. Thinking that having a woman in your life is gonna make you a complete person is what foolish men think. Women can't create a man and make him a whole man. He got to make himself a whole man. Any man depending on a woman to create him and make him a whole man is a foolish man. So any man watching this, stop depending on women to make you an actual man when you should be doing that shit yourself. It says, too interested to start. I think I read that. Too interested turn off starts when someone starts to exhibit interest in you that comes across as disingenuous. It's flattering when someone thinks you're fun or interesting or nice to be around, but sometimes someone being overly interested too soon feels like they don't actually see you. It's a feeling like there's interest doesn't naturally stem from them reacting to who you are. It's them falling from this image they've created of you in their heads. Yeah, some dudes, they will pedalize women and stuff and call them queens and all that other shit. Just put them up here way above them and sacrificing them. So like I said a second ago, you don't want to do that. You don't want to end up like these fools, because these type of dudes, they're the ones that give everything up. And you know, I ain't gonna just say like they suck or nothing, because I've been in that predicament. I remember when I was like my early 20s and I used to play like video games and shit, and then I met this one woman, and all of a sudden I don't play video games no more, I don't drink no more, I don't do none of this stuff. I threw all that stuff away because I didn't want the woman to know that I did that, and I didn't want her to think that I was uncool. But I look back years later after me and her failed, I'm like, damn man, what is it that makes me happy? And you know, I couldn't find that, but it took me many years after that to reinvent who I was and rediscover who I was as a person. And since then, I've never sacrificed that. And I'm telling y'all, like, when you start giving up portions of who your actual makeup, or who you created yourself down the line, you start regretting that, because you're not gonna remember who you were. And if you do remember who you were, hopefully you're able to return to that portion of yourself. Let's go to the next person right here. This is their opinion on what is a healthy obsession to have with a woman versus being nonchalant. This person said they want someone who could have option but is utterly devoted to just them. I do feel that, and that ties back to the whole thing I mentioned earlier about the girl I was talking to had the audacity to have another dude texting and asking her questions. I'm like, look, you know what? I don't care what you do. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. What I do care about is how I'm going to talk to you about the situation. If you want to do that, then that's perfectly fine. But just know that I could definitely have options. I know what it's like out here. The dating pool is straight ass. But if you're willing to flip the coin on that and you need to figure out if these other guys are a better option than me, then so be it. I encourage women that I date to date multiple men or go date other men, because I want you to see that maybe that guy is the best option, maybe he ain't the best option, but either way, I'm not. This is what you get. This is what I got to offer and shit. This is who I am. If you think these are the motherfuckers on my level, then go find out. That's just how I am and everything. But at the same time, don't think I'm not going to be out here trying to see what the best option for myself is, So just as easy as you are attempting or may be questionable about could you replace me or am I the best option, I'll be thinking the same thing when it comes to a woman if you the best option. All right. This dude, did I read everything? Yeah, he said, I personally do not hold back when I like someone. I let them know and try to be 100% honest with them. And that's what you got to do. It says, it worked out well and I never changed. Yeah, yep. You got to be 100%, man. This is something I learned when I was in my late 20s. One thing I used to do, I'm not going to say the phrase of passive aggressive, but one thing I used to do is not tell people how I truly feel until I got frustrated and they try to vent their problems to me. And I realized, you know what? All this shit, us back and forth, is because it's pent up energy and negativity that could have been resolved or spoken about ahead of time and everything. And if I would have spoke about this before any of this stuff happened, there's a chance we could have resolved this on the spot or within a day or so. But, I wasn't that mindset. But now that I am that mindset, you can see when I'm upset. I might not speak about it right away, but I'm not going to make a fool of myself either. But when I do come to you, I'm going to come to you in a respectable tone so you can understand my perspective. And if I came to you and kept everything professional or respectable and you still come off like a damn idiot, then I just know I'm not about to talk to you no more about none of that shit, because you can't accept a genuine response to something I don't like. And anybody that you like should be able to expect that you can come to them and tell them when you don't like a situation. If you can't talk to your partner and tell them that you don't like something, then maybe they probably shouldn't be your partner. Maybe you need to go find somebody else. You shouldn't have to really feel fearful when it comes to telling your partner about things that you like and things that you don't like about them, or a thing that they did or something that bother them in general. Oh man, I'll probably do like two more, man, then it's time to lay it down. Let's see. So I skipped that one, and let's go with this one right here. This person said, in case y'all tuning in, this is about how obsessed you should be or how distant you should be when it comes to a woman. Is there a fine line between that? This person said, I think in general, people in general tend to want a balance, interested enough to be a part of their lives, but not too much to where said person is revolving around theirs. The balance is hard to quantify, though. It's different for everyone. Yeah, and I agree with that. Like, if I'm dating somebody, every single woman I've ever dated, I've taken something from. I know that don't sound like a good thing to say out my mouth, but it's not bad to take from people that you actually care about, especially if the things you're taking from them is something positive. And even if you're taking something positive, make sure that whatever you're taking is going to benefit you in the long run. Such as, like recipes, learning to cook. Y'all thought about saying something like a damn thief, like a robber or something. No, I won't gonna say that, but like recipes or morals and ethics and beliefs or hobbies, things of that sort is something that you should be taking from somebody that you actually are with. And if this stuff that you're taking from them makes you better, then make it yours as well. It's not like they're paying for it or they paid them patent that idea for the most part. Nah, if you got a hobby and you like it, or they had it and then you like it, then now it's yours. That's how I always have been, and that's how I become a more interested person. Hanging out with people that do things I don't understand that I may like down the line. But, if you don't have a balance of actually figuring out what it is that you like and everything, or what you don't like. You might not be the type of person that could, I guess, pull away from the person that you're actually dating. If you want to hang out with them 24/7, this tells me that that person is more interesting than you are in everything. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but at the same time, you need to get on their level. This woman right here, I'm going to respond to her, read hers, then after that, I get out of here, man. It says, this is a lady. She said, I briefly dated a guy who was too into me, like within a couple of months. His whole life revolved around me and our relationship, and he expected the same from me. It was exhausting. I couldn't do it. I can't be with someone's entire everything. Like, he needs to be his own person and have his own life. Yeah, and I totally agree with that. Like, the girl I was kicking, still kicking with and everything, I don't think I even say goodnight to her ass. But I still, we still kick it here and there. But I don't revolve my life around her, because I got my own life, I got my own family, my own people that I talk to and kick it with. And for me to, force myself into her life, I just feel like that just doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't resonate. As a man, you need to be able to formulate and construct your own path in life. And if you fall in the path of a woman, you're not following the path of a man. Just simple logic. All right, so that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and scroll all the way to the top. And my question to anybody that's watching the video is, have y'all figured out how much obsession you should have with a man or a woman, or how detached should you be? Where is the fine line that has to be drawn in the sand? Have y'all figured that out? Because I think my fine line came from, learning to love myself. Put yourself before others. They might tell you that you're selfish, but, they could go eat a dick. With that being said, leave a like, comment, or subscribe. This your boy, a.k.a. Labz, and I'm